Now, though, we turn our attention to our friend and columnist with AZ Central Sports, the one and only Paula Boivin. She joins us via Skype. It is nice to see you. What's new?
I'm in awe of where you guys are going with your station as far as one day you're in, at the Combine, the next you're doing this Pac-12 tournament, or not Pac-12, Pac-12 games. So are you going to Pac-12 tournament, by the way?
I am.
Okay.
Eric, I'm going to drag Eric along, kicking and screaming. So
Nice.
we're going to go to well, I appreciate it. We're going to LA this week, and then in 2 weeks we'll be in Vegas, and then if ASU makes it, which we'll get to in a second,
Sure.
We will travel with them, and we are definitely traveling with U of A. So yeah, I mean, this is what we do. Is ASU out after what happened Saturday night?
No, they're not out. They definitely have to win at least one, I think, with these LA schools. They got to win it on the road. And it might come down to this Pac-12 tournament. There's a lot of things that could happen in the next few days because strange teams have been beating other teams, and it's all a mess right now. It didn't help their RPI, which we know is really important with this loss, but I don't think it's over yet. But they need to step up. And I was at that game. I just went as a fan to watch college basketball, this loss to Washington, and it was really disappointing because I've seen them play far better than that, and they did not step up when they needed to.
Well, I have a lot of respect for you going as a fan. I mean, that says a lot.
I don't get to do that very much.
Right. Well, in this day and age of sports, I mean, there's not many sports that I would go just to watch as a fan, in all honesty, because
Sure.
we've seen it. And once you get to playoffs now, it feels like with all sports. But in college basketball, there is a sense of urgency, even though Herb's team didn't play like it the other night.
Well, no, it's true. And I wanted to go also to feel the environment there because for so long I've gone to those games and it's like, I can see why they would struggle maybe to recruit in the past. You bring people in for games. This was a great atmosphere. There were some empty seats, but not a ton. The student section, I think they set a record, the amount of students. They were very vocal. It was a really good sort of energy. And I just think if this team can get in the tournament, they're putting themselves in such a great position getting into the tournament, having this great point guard in Jaheik Carson, and maybe they can build off that. And finally, after all this time, getting fans in that arena. So, if they don't do it, I think they're going to be wasting a great opportunity.
Paula Boivin, News and Notes, AZ Central Sports. Danica was in third. The final lap, she went from third to eighth. She's getting crushed because she couldn't hold in there. I actually think she made the smart move by not trying to force the action. Sure. What do you make out of Danica coming here this week with NASCAR? To me, this is a week where it's going to be about her this week.
Sure. And it is. And it's about her, I think, for the right reasons. I mean, she won the pole fair and square, and she finished in the top 10. And for all those people sort of dogging the way she played it, look how many people finished after her in that race.
Right.
And, it's difficult, too, when you're in the pole position. And then when you come out of the pits, you always can't get the acceleration that you need, and all those kinds of things were unfolding. So, I mean, it wasn't a perfect scenario, but my goodness, she finished top 10. I think she's improving as a driver every day. And I think it's exciting for the Valley that they're coming here this weekend on the heels of what she did there.
Well, the sport needs it because in the last couple of years, and the diehard NASCAR fan doesn't like to hear this, but it's a fact. In the last few years, the popularity of NASCAR has dipped. Sure. And so, and she was a novelty item, in my opinion, when she first came on board. That may sound a little harsh, but I think now she's just one of the other drivers who, oh, by the way, happens to be female. And
right.
so the attention that she brought the sport, the Saturday crash that they had there was awful. There should have been no debate about whether to not run the race yesterday or not, but it was horrific. And then her story yesterday, I think, leads to heightened awareness in a time where that sport needs it.
And, it sounds so cliche, too, but the reality of her opening the door for other female drivers, I mean, that stuff
sacrilegious, though, Paula, sacrilegious. They don't want to.
Yes, I know. It's NASCAR, right? They don't like to have that conversation.
Right.
But the reality is it's a whole new group of talent that is going to feel the desire and need to participate in racing and starting from the bottom and working your way up as Danica did. This wasn't a gift. She grew up a gearhead. She grew up someone racing in all the smaller circuits and did what a lot of the male drivers did to get there. Now, she got more endorsements than they did because she was attractive and she was female and some questionable ad campaigns in my mind. But beyond that stuff, I mean, she is racing because she's passionate about it. just like everybody else on that course is.
Paola Boivin, News and Notes, joining us via Skype, AZ Central Sports. You can watch her right now over on pros2preps.com. I'm very pleased with how the Suns have performed here the last couple of games. I think they're well on their way to getting they're only 5.5 back for the worst record in the league. Every off-season move that they made from last summer, okay, outside of Scola, every off-season move, I look at and say, in particular with the Beasley deal, who they put up on a pedestal, and Johnson, what a train wreck. There's just no other way to put it.
No, and I'm halfway there with you, Brad, and pleased in the sense of someone covering this team for them to get the chance for some great draft picks. I'm all for that. Lose more games. But are they going to be able to do the right thing with the draft picks, and will they pick the right people?
Right.
I mean, I'm looking at where this team is now. It's not just that they're bad, but you have this drama with Beasley. Maybe he had this elbow issue, but there's enough weirdness going around this team that it made people sort of second guess if he was just leaving, the court. Then you mentioned Shannon Brown earlier. There was a lot of Shannon Brown that I liked when he was playing well and he was in the starting lineup, and now he's not even in there. I know they're trying new things. I can't imagine that locker room is great. I haven't been around enough to say, if it is or not, but I can't imagine things are going that well in there. So I'm just concerned as an organization, yeah, they're going to get these picks, but are they going to be able to do the right things with them? I don't have a lot of confidence is what I'm saying, Brad.
Well, look, and I've been taking a sledgehammer to the Suns for the last year and a half. This has just been one of those completely unacceptable situations where I think in this town, because it's the Suns, we have taken the tact of they're going to get it turned around. Well, no, I'm not there anymore with most everybody in town. There needs to be a sledgehammer taken to them every day and pound them into submission, because I'm not in the frame of mind anymore, Paula, to say, hey, Robert, you're getting it done right. When I look at every move down the road that he's made has not worked out well. I think Dan Marley could do a better job coaching than what we've seen out of Lindsey Hunter. I don't think he would have lost the locker room. And I could go on this, but now you're getting Kevin Garnett not playing on Friday and Tony Parker not playing on Sunday. Teams look at the Suns like a speed bump and say, we don't even need to play our best players. We've turned into the biggest joke in the league.
That's exactly the first thing I thought of when I heard Parker wasn't playing. I mean, that's what's happening. And, the problem for me, and it's individually Blanks and Babby and even Sarver, who I know has taken a lot of heat. There's no question in my mind he wants to win, he wants to do it right, and all that stuff. But individually, all those guys are fine, but collectively, they're not a trio. Because of the lack of experience of all of them at the positions that they're holding, I just think it's a bit of a disaster as a management trio, and that's what scares me. I just don't know if there's one guy that's lived through the war of the NBA that can now say, no, this is how we have to do it.
So are you going to take the sledgehammer to them this week?
I may have to. It's getting really bad, Brad.
I mean, we're at that point. What are you working on that you can share?
Well, getting ready I'm going to be doing the Pac-12 tournament, which is great. So really kind of monitoring the college basketball scene. And I mentioned before, I'm working on a couple projects. That's kind of occupied my time. I was out for the opener of spring training, and that was great. I forgot how great that Diamondback spring training ballpark is. It's sort of a fan experience. So that's where I am right now.
Stay well. See you.
All right, Brad.
It's Paola Boivin, News and Notes every week.